All right, Steelers Nation. Let's jump right into it because there is a lot going on and the air is thick with anticipation. We are in that strange, almost electric phase where the season feels close, but not quite here yet, and every little move feels like a major event. Today's spotlight is on the man who is finally stepping into the head coach role, Mike McCarthy. And naturally, the questions are coming fast and furious. We all want to know what he will bring to the table, how he will reshape the identity of this team, and most importantly, what the quarterback situation will look like under his leadership. There's been a lot of noise and a lot of speculation, and it's hard not to lean into that because when a new coach arrives, everything feels like it could change overnight. What has grabbed my attention most, though, is the way the front office and the new head coach seem to be speaking about Kenny Pickett, or more accurately, about the quarterback situation in general. Because here's the thing, the kid has barely had a chance to show what he can do. He didn't throw a single pass last season, didn't rack up any yards, and didn't even take an offensive snap in preseason. That's a wild position for a quarterback to be in, especially when he's expected to be the future of a franchise. There are always reasons for that kind of absence, but when you look at it from the outside, it can't help but make you wonder if this is a case of being stalled at the worst possible time. The Steelers have always been careful with their quarterbacks, and that has often worked in their favor, but now we're in a moment where patience has to be balanced with urgency, because the rest of the league is not waiting now. I know what you're thinking. We have a new head coach, so surely he's going to have a plan, and yes, he probably does. But the more I listen to the early commentary, the more it seems like the team is trying to thread a needle here. They want to keep faith in the players they already have, while also making sure they don't fall behind in a division that is getting more competitive every year. There's a delicate dance happening, and I think the Steelers are trying to avoid the kind of chaos that can come from a complete rebuild. That's understandable, but there's also a risk in trying to keep everything stable for too long, because at some point, stability becomes stagnation, and that's not something any fan wants to see. One thing that really stood out recently was a comment from Art Rooney, where he mentioned how intrigued McCarthy was about the potential of the quarterback. That kind of language always gets the fans fired up because it sounds like an endorsement, a vote of confidence, but let's be honest, it can also be a bit of a strategic way to manage expectations. It's one thing to say you like the potential of a player, and another thing entirely to commit to him as your starting quarterback. And we've seen this story before in Pittsburgh, where the team has shown love for a player's upside, only to later pivot when the reality of the game hits. So, yes, it's encouraging, but it's also not the final word. What's been interesting is how quickly the narrative shifted after that. Analysts and former quarterbacks started chiming in, praising Pickett, and suddenly it felt like everyone was talking about a player who hasn't had a chance to prove anything yet. It's hard not to be a little skeptical about that. Not because Pickett isn't talented, but because there's always a tendency in the media to jump to conclusions when a new coach arrives. Everyone wants to be the first to predict the next great quarterback story, and that can create a kind of bubble where reality gets pushed to the side. That's why I'm trying to stay grounded here. I'm not dismissing the possibility that Pickett could become the answer, but I also don't want to pretend that we've already reached a conclusion. And then there's the other part of this equation, Mason Rudolph. The mention of his name in the same breath as Pickett raises all kinds of questions about what the Steelers are thinking. If the team is already talking about the potential of Pickett, what does that mean for Rudolph's place on the roster? Is he still viewed as the main backup, or is he now a placeholder until the team decides what direction they want to go? The quarterback room is a crowded and complicated place right now, and that's before we even consider the possibility of bringing in another veteran or drafting someone new. It's a puzzle with a lot of moving pieces, and the reality is that the team's future could hinge on how those pieces fall into place. I've been told directly that the front office was disappointed that Pickett didn't get any preseason action last year. That's not speculation. It's something that has been communicated. They believe that he needed that time to establish himself, to get a feel for the speed of the game, and to show that he could handle the pressure of being a leader on the field. Instead, he was stuck in a situation where he couldn't demonstrate anything, and that created a kind of awkwardness around his development. Now, the 2026 draft is coming up, and it's realistic to think the Steelers will add another quarterback, whether that player is a first-rounder or someone later in the draft. The presence of a new quarterback will change the dynamic in a significant way suddenly. You have a room with multiple quarterbacks who have never played in a real NFL game. That's not a comfortable place for any franchise to be. And when you consider the possibility of bringing in a veteran, the situation becomes even more complex. If the Steelers sign someone like Malik Willis, for example, that's a clear statement. You're not bringing him in to compete. You're bringing him in because you believe he can play. That's a big move. And it would signal that the team is ready to shift away from the current plan. On the other hand, if they bring in someone like Justin Fields, you're looking at a different type of strategy, a more experienced player who could serve as a bridge while the younger quarterbacks develop. There are pros and cons to every path, and it's not easy to predict which one the Steelers will choose. But what's clear is that the quarterback situation is not simple, and it's not going to be resolved quickly. What I keep coming back to is the reality that this organization has always been about careful, calculated decisions. They don't often make dramatic moves without a clear plan. And that's why the process of hiring McCarthy felt so strange to so many people. It seemed like the team prioritized familiarity and comfort over innovation and boldness. That may have been a deliberate choice, but it also left a lot of fans feeling uneasy. The Steelers have built a legacy on a certain kind of identity, and any change to that identity is going to be met with resistance. But there's also a chance that McCarthy's experience and steady approach could provide the stability the team needs. It's a balancing act, and right now, the balance feels fragile. Now, I want to address something that I think a lot of fans are feeling, the sense of disappointment about the coaching process. It's not just about the hire itself, but about the way it was handled. There's a feeling that the team didn't fully explore its options, that they didn't take the time to see what else was out there. That kind of approach can make people feel like the decision was made too quickly, or for the wrong reasons. And then there's the issue of the staff. McCarthy is known for running a high-level offense and developing quarterbacks, but we still don't know who he will bring in as coordinators. That will likely tell us more about his true vision than his own hiring announcement ever could. In the end, what I'm trying to say is that we are in a period of uncertainty, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a moment where the Steelers have the chance to redefine themselves, to take a step forward, and to make some bold decisions, but they have to do it carefully, because the wrong move could set the franchise back, and the right move could be the beginning of something special. We are all watching, waiting, and hoping for the best, and while the questions are plenty, the answers are still out there, waiting to be revealed. All right, let's keep this rolling, because the more I think about it, the more the quarterback situation feels like a high-stakes chess game. And in a game like this, the biggest mistake you can make is letting the moment force you into a decision that doesn't truly align with your long-term plan. The Steelers have always been an organization that values structure and continuity, but they also need to evolve. The league is changing fast, and the teams that adapt are the ones that win. That's why the discussion around Kenny Pickett and the potential of bringing in another quarterback is so crucial. It is not just about who starts this year. It is about what kind of franchise the Steelers want to be for the next decade. Now, I know some fans are already thinking, why not just commit to Pickett and let him run with it? The logic is simple. He's been here. He knows the system, and he has the support of the organization. But the reality is that we still don't know what we have. There's a big difference between potential and proven performance, and the Steelers have to make sure they are not confusing the two. There is a reason why the team is being cautious. The last thing anyone wants is to build a season around a quarterback who is not ready, only to watch the whole plan crumble when the games start to matter. That would be a costly mistake, and the organization is too smart to let that happen. And that brings us to the bigger picture. The Steelers are not just thinking about this year, they are thinking about the next few years, and how they can build a team that is competitive and sustainable. That's why the coaching staff matters so much. McCarthy may be the head coach, but the coordinators and the support staff are the ones who will actually shape the day-to-day development of the players. If the team brings in a strong offensive coordinator, someone who can innovate and create opportunities, then Pickett might have a real chance to flourish. But if the staff is too conservative, or if they fail to adapt to the modern game, then the quarterback situation could become a bigger problem than it already is. One thing I keep hearing is that McCarthy is a quarterback whisperer. He has a reputation for working with signal callers and helping them grow, but reputation is one thing and results are another. There have been seasons where McCarthy's quarterbacks have thrived, and seasons where they have struggled. And the difference often comes down to the surrounding talent and the coaching environment. The Steelers have always been known for their defense, their toughness, and their physical identity. But the modern NFL rewards offenses that can move the ball efficiently and score in a hurry. If the Steelers want to compete at the highest level, they need an offense that can keep up. That means more than just having a quarterback. It means having a scheme that fits the players, and a coach who is willing to take risks when necessary. And that is why the talk about the coaching process is so important. When you look at the way the hiring unfolded, it felt like the team was trying to avoid a complete overhaul. That's understandable. But it also raises questions about whether they are willing to take the necessary steps to truly modernize. The NFL is a league where innovation matters, and teams that resist change often get left behind. The Steelers have a proud history, but history does not win games, execution does. And execution comes from having a staff that is willing to push the boundaries, to embrace analytics, and to build a team that can win in the current era. I also want to touch on the fans' reaction, because it has been intense. People are passionate, and they have every right to be. This is the Steelers, after all. This is a franchise with a legacy of excellence, and the fans have high expectations. When something feels off, they will speak up, and the initial reaction to McCarthy's hire was, frankly, skeptical, but I think we have to give it time. Sometimes the most criticized decisions end up being the ones that work out. It is possible that McCarthy will bring a calm, steady hand to the team, and that the organization will use this as a reset. But it is also possible that the fans' concerns are valid, and that the team will need to make adjustments. Either way, the next few months will be telling. Now, let's talk about the potential of the quarterback room beyond Pickett and Rudolph. The NFL is full of veteran quarterbacks who could be available, and the Steelers could choose to bring in someone with experience to stabilize the position. That could be a smart move, especially if the team wants to protect Pickett from the pressure of being the starter before he is ready. A veteran can also provide leadership and help the younger quarterbacks learn. But the question is, who is the right fit? The Steelers are not going to sign just anyone. They need someone who fits the culture, someone who can lead, and someone who can be effective in the system. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are swirling around Pittsburgh as speculation heats up about who might take the reins of the Steelers next. Sources close to the organization suggest that the decision may be closer than fans think, with signals pointing unmistakably toward a particular candidate, while nothing has been officially confirmed. Insiders indicate that the front office has been laying the groundwork for a transition that could reshape the team's identity for years to come. The Steelers, a franchise known for its stability and deep-rooted traditions, have always approached coaching decisions with a blend of caution and calculated strategy. Observers note that the subtle moves in personnel, statements in press conferences, and even the timing of meetings hint at a deliberate choice being made behind closed doors. While the team has publicly expressed openness to various candidates, those in the know suggest that the internal favorite has been quietly favored for some time. Fans have been dissecting every interview and press release for clues, and some commentators point to specific phrases and gestures from management that could be read as a soft confirmation. The supposed frontrunner is said to have strong ties to the Steelers culture, a reputation for discipline and adaptability, and a vision that aligns with the team's long-term goals. These traits, combined with a history of success in high-pressure environments, make this figure a natural fit. Insiders say, despite the growing buzz, the organization has remained tight-lipped, fueling further speculation. Every practice, meeting, and handshake is being analyzed by media and fans alike, who are eager for any sign that the speculation will soon become reality. Some sources suggest that while the decision is nearly finalized, the timing of the announcement may be strategic, designed to maximize impact and manage expectations among players and supporters. As rumors continue to spread, one thing is clear: the Steelers are signaling a significant shift in leadership. Whether this choice will be embraced wholeheartedly by fans or spark debate remains to be seen. But the chatter around Pittsburgh suggests that the next chapter of the franchise is already beginning to take shape. Analysts and insiders alike are watching closely, anticipating the move that could define the team's trajectory for the foreseeable future. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.